I don't care for him. Doesn't seem to have, like, the skill set. Doesn't have the skill set to be president. You know, just not a good fit, that's all.
Stephen Colbert just dropped a nuclear bomb on live television. No censorship, no filters. Just 3 words aimed straight at Donald Trump. Go fuck yourself.
Go f yourself.
The audience went silent, then erupted. The internet, total chaos. But here's where things get really strange. Less than 48 hours after that explosive monologue, The Late Show was gone, abruptly canceled by CBS.
Late Show host Stephen Colbert had some things to say and plenty of big name support last night in his first broadcast since announcing the show's cancellation. He poked fun at CBS a bit for the surprise move. People were not expecting it. And at President Trump, who, as you may imagine, appears to be celebrating the cancellation online. Here's Vlad.
No warning, no farewell, no Colbert. So what just happened? Was this Colbert's ultimate mic drop, a final jab at a president he's mocked for years? Or did he just cross a line so deep that the network yanked the plug? Fans are buzzing about everything from corporate censorship to silent blacklists. And the timing? Way too perfect to ignore. But here's the thing. This story didn't begin with one savage line. It's been brewing for years, through political firestorms, late-night jabs, and a media war that Colbert may have just taken too far. And if you stick around, we're going to uncover the truth behind the cancellation, the hidden power struggle at CBS, and the deeper game being played behind Colbert's final words. What you're about to hear will change how you see late-night television forever. It started with a $16 million check and ended with a late-night legacy on the chopping block. Just days before Colbert's fiery monologue, Paramount quietly paid Donald Trump a massive settlement over a brewing legal dispute tied to 60 Minutes. According to Vox, The Guardian, and The Daily Beast, the deal was meant to make things go away. But on air, Colbert didn't mince words. He called it what many were thinking but few dared to say: a big fat bribe. The crowd gasped. The cameras kept rolling. And within 48 hours, CBS made a stunning announcement. The Late Show would be ending in May 2026, cutting Colbert's reign short without any hint of warning.
Absolutely loved that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings.
The timing? Too close for comfort. As reported by Omni, the shift from Colbert's explosive accusation to the network's sudden cancellation felt less like a coincidence and more like retaliation. But Colbert didn't just bite the hand that fed him. He swung back hard. And when he did, the gloves came off. Literally, gloves are off moment. Just hours after CBS quietly confirmed the show's upcoming cancellation, Stephen Colbert walked onto the stage with a look that said it all.
They're killing off our show. But they made one mistake. They left me alive.
No jokes, no smiles, just a cold, sharp declaration. The gloves are off. It wasn't just a catchphrase, it was a promise. According to the New York Post, Time, and The Guardian, this was Colbert's first taping after the announcement, and he wasn't holding anything back. What followed was one of the most unfiltered monologues in late-night history. He torched Trump's recent settlement, mocked the media circus around it, and then without flinching, looked into the camera and dropped the line that would define the night: Donald, go fuck yourself. The crowd erupted. Cheers, gasps, even standing applause. According to The Sun, Colbert followed it up with a chilling promise. From now on, his commentary would be unchecked. No more corporate leash, no more filters. Fellow hosts and comedians rushed to his defense on social media, calling it brave, raw, and long overdue. But here's the thing, that kind of response doesn't happen in a vacuum. The support, the outrage, the silence from CBS, it all points to something deeper brewing behind the scenes. And when you hear what happened next, the real story behind this takedown starts to unravel. As the shock of Colbert's cancellation rippled through the industry, late night's biggest names weren't silent. Jon Stewart, Seth Meyers, Jimmy Fallon, and John Oliver, all rivals on paper, stood shoulder to shoulder in a rare moment of unified defiance. Even Lin-Manuel Miranda and other Hollywood heavyweights rallied behind Colbert, calling the move a direct hit to artistic freedom, according to People, TMZ, and Vox. But it didn't stop with celebrities. The Writers Guild of America flagged the cancellation as deeply suspect, hinting at possible political interference behind CBS's decision. The pressure grew when Senator Elizabeth Warren and Congressman Adam Schiff publicly demanded answers, questioning whether Colbert's anti-Trump commentary played a role in the network's sudden move. What started as a late-night rant had spiraled into a national firestorm. But behind the scenes, something even more disturbing was surfacing. Something that hinted Colbert may have been targeted long before that final episode ever aired. The financial argument. Paramount wants you to believe this was all about money. In their official statement, they blamed The Late Show's abrupt cancellation on mounting annual losses between $40–50 million, citing a collapse in the late-night advertising market. Fair enough, since 2018 the entire industry has seen ad revenues slashed nearly in half, according to reports from Vox, The Wall Street Journal, and AP News. But here's where it starts to smell fishy. Despite the so-called losses, The Late Show was still the highest-rated late-night talk show in America. Yes, #1 in its time slot. So if this was really about cutting dead weight, why chop off your strongest limb? Even network insiders are raising eyebrows. Multiple sources say the show was still pulling in premium ad deals and commanding huge cultural relevance. Killing off your top performer over ad revenue decline just doesn't add up, especially not 2 days after Colbert publicly mocked a $16 million settlement paid to Trump, a settlement made by Paramount's own flagship news division. Was the financial story just a corporate smokescreen? A way to sanitize what might actually be political retaliation? Because let's be honest, the media industry knows how to bleed quietly. Shows that hemorrhage cash for years are kept alive if they serve a bigger agenda. So why not Colbert's? That's where the timing becomes explosive. And that timing looks telling. Was it really about Trump? So now the question everyone's afraid to ask, was this really about Trump? Because if you connect the dots, the picture is hard to ignore. At the center of this firestorm is Paramount's high-stakes merger with Skydance, a deal reportedly hinging on regulatory approval from, you guessed it, the FCC, which just so happens to be stacked with Trump-aligned influence. Now add this up. Paramount quietly pays Trump $16 million to settle a 60 Minutes dispute. Colbert takes the gloves off and calls it a big fat bribe, and just 48 hours later, The Late Show is axed? That's not a coincidence. That's a warning shot. Sources close to the deal say Paramount was desperate to avoid rocking the political boat, especially with billions on the line. And Colbert? He lit a match in the powder room. Critics are now sounding the alarm, claiming networks are folding under political pressure, abandoning their top talent to stay in the good graces of powerful figures. Even mainstream outlets like Time, Vox, and AP News are asking the same question. Did Colbert get canceled for criticizing Trump because Paramount needed Trump? It's the kind of quiet corporate maneuvering that never makes headlines, but this time, the timing was too perfect, the silence too loud, and the stakes way too high to ignore. And when media starts bending to political pressure, what happens to the truth? Stick around, because the final twist will make you question everything. What this means for free speech and late night. This isn't just the end of The Late Show, it's the beginning of a chilling new chapter. With CBS becoming the first major network to fully exit late-night talk, the message is loud and unsettling: speak too freely. And you might not be back after the commercial break. For decades, late-night hosts were the last line of satirical resistance, fearlessly mocking presidents, billionaires, and power itself. Now, the landscape is shifting, and not in favor of free speech. Critics warn this cancellation could have a domino effect, discouraging other hosts from stepping over the corporate line, especially as media giants consolidate and rely more heavily on politically sensitive deals. And as satire gets squeezed out of network TV and pushed into algorithm-driven online spaces, it raises a terrifying question: who decides what's too dangerous to joke about? Because if Colbert can be silenced at the top of his game, nobody's safe. And one final question to leave you with: what happens to comedy when the truth becomes too risky to laugh at? The question now isn't why it happened, but who wanted it silenced? Has late-night satire officially crossed the line from comedy to threat? Have the powers that be finally figured out how to muzzle political truth with a spreadsheet and a phone call? And now the fight moves off the stage. Will Colbert strike back on streaming, where networks have no leash? Or are we witnessing the quiet execution of satire itself, replaced by safe, sanitized entertainment? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell, because this isn't just entertainment anymore. You tell us. Drop a comment. Was this about money, Trump, or silencing dissent? Share this if you believe free speech should never be corporate approved. And don't just watch, wake others up. Because if this is how they silence one of the loudest voices on TV, who's next? See you in another video where we dig even deeper and say what they won't. More truths, more noise, more fire coming up next.